tour.
World tour.
Our minion overlords going on a world tour. What's going on? Thank you so much for joining the ROH post show on the road to Final Battle. Not the go home yet, but we got some good stuff shaping up for this card to talk about tonight. Very full episode. We're starting a little later than usual because of it. So chat along with us. Hang out with us. Would you send in those super chats if there's anything you want to ask? Feel free to also leave a thumbs up on this video. It's the best free way to support us. But if you got $5 a month, if you got $54 for the year, head on over to FightfulSelect.com. Best $5 in the biz. Scoops galore. Scoops galore going on over there. We had As the Starkz turns, and now we have As the Rey Fenix turns, it feels like. There's drama, but Sean's got it all covered for you. So much more than that going on, though. More contract news on the way. We've got also Saturday night's main event coming up, which is going to have some scoops with it for sure. So stay tuned on FightfulSelect.com. If you know someone that's a wrestling fan, but maybe can't afford a Fightful Select membership, there is a way to gift it on Patreon as well. So you can give that to the wrestling fan in your life if you want the most reliable news and the most amount of news. FightfulSelect.com has you covered. Some exciting stuff coming up in the new year for us as well. So stay tuned for that. We will have post shows this weekend, I believe both for Collision and Saturday night's main event. So stay tuned for that. Sean and Andrew Baydala, who's coming back, which makes me very, very happy. Great guy. Very good at what he does. You'll want to hear his insights. So check that out. But we've got our own pay-per-view to talk about a little bit and the build to get there with our ROH Final Battle build here. That feels like a Dr. Seuss thing if you say it enough. Final Battle build. Tweedlebeetles battle.
Final Battle build.
But let's kind of start off with the hotter things that are on the program, and we'll get into the match by match. But we have this story building out between Athena and Billie Starkz. I thought the qualifier that Athena unsurprisingly won, but she defeats Red Velvet, Billie Starkz, and Leyla Hirsch in this with a single leg hook on Red Velvet. Some nice storytelling between Billie and Athena in this as well. No surprise that she's going to be representing the ROH brand at the Tokyo Dome, which is a special thing in itself. But she's going on the world tour. We're very excited about that. But I like the way that they use this match to kind of advance what's been going on with Athena and Billie. And we do get towards the end of the show that coming into play. What do you think of that overall? Do you think that they're going to wait until TV gets announced for that Athena-Billie title flip? Or do you think finally at Final Battle, we're going to see this end? I feel like they could give Athena a break and that would be okay before, before sending her to the main roster.
I think that is the right thing to do to pull the trigger at Final Battle, because we've waited long enough. If you weren't going to do it at Final Battle, then you don't book the match. You probably don't. You probably shouldn't even book the matchup if you're not going to pull the trigger. So I'm hoping they do the right thing. They pull the trigger on Billie. And I say that begrudgingly because I am going against our fallen goddess. And I necessarily, after we go over everything, necessarily wouldn't have got here in the same fashion. I think that we missed some story beats of this whole story, but it is a direction they chose. It's an interesting one where Athena thinks that this is just a title defense. But I like how they use the 4-way to build both women's title matches coming up at Final Battle. They did the whole storytelling with Athena and Billie with the promo beforehand where she told her she can give her apology by laying down for her, looking up at the lights, and then Billie kind of not being willing to do that during the matchup, and they going through it, showing off their dissension, and then there was a lot of one-on-one action between Leyla Hirsch and Red Velvet, and then Leyla Hirsch in the end could have pinned and won the matchup because she was the one that hit the move that put out Red Velvet, but it was Athena capitalizing on Billie and Leyla going at it.
Yeah, there was a lot to like about this match, and I feel like the test of a good 4-way is who's emerging with what, and everybody emerged with something. Like a one that has stakes and consequences in particular. Like usually if 2 people get something out of it, that's pretty good. When all 4 do, I feel like that's a great 4-way. And I also felt like what a fun 4-pack. Like Leyla Hirsch really showed out at points of this. Nobody in there has the same style. And that was really fun. Like Billie has this incredible constellation of attributes to her, of having this backyard daredevil side to her, but also being extremely likable, and she knows what she's doing in there, and she takes risks when necessary, but she's a great wrestler at the fundamentals as well. Athena, who's just, I mean, the athleticism combined with this harder hitting side that we've seen emerge in the past 2 years is unbelievable. Leyla Hirsch, small technical powerhouse, super fun. And then Red Velvet, all the charisma, all the daring stuff that got reined in a little bit with some more in-ring smarts than she had. I feel like earlier in her career, we're really seeing that all come together now. I loved this 4-pack. I don't think the result was ever in doubt, but I was thoroughly invested in it anyway because of the stories that were being told throughout it. I haven't decided whether or not I like this, and you tell me what you think. I don't know if I like that ROH decided who goes into the tournament in a different way than AEW did. Initially, I didn't love it, but then I was like, the other 2 companies that are competing in this, they can do whatever they want for their qualifier. So why, just because ROH is under the AEW umbrella, does it have to go about the same way? So I'm a little bit split on that, but I'm kind of leaning toward liking it because it's how whatever brand wants to determine their own representative, right? And I feel like, okay, that's fun. That's cool. I'm good with that. Did you want some uniformity in that, or are you kind of like it's up to each brand?
No, I like the fact that it's up to each company to like figure out what they want to do. And I thought that Ring of Honor chose the right way to do this because, like I said, they were able to effectively use the 4-way concept, the 4-way stipulation to build up their 2 title matches for the pay-per-view. So they use this in the right way. It propels them to finally setting up their ROH Women's World Title matchup. Also kind of further building the Ring of Honor World TV title matchup at the same time. One person lost. It's a champion pinning a champion. Neither challenger takes the loss. So I think that they accomplished a lot. They saved them a lot of grief otherwise, because otherwise it just would have been Athena beating 2 of these people instead of
yes. Agreed. Yeah, the inevitability of that, definitely a piece of it here. But before we even get to this match, there is a promo where Billie Starkz just like so disrespectful, man. Like, I said that she's really likable, but she just goes out there and starts to speak like without even considering Athena's feelings in this. Like, I just feel like, Athena was right later in the episode. She says, like, you chose to go your own way and it cost you the TV title. It's like, I don't know, Billie, maybe stop and listen. Okay. Maybe listen to what your minion overlord has to say. So she thankfully gets cut off very early in this because I didn't want to hear what Billie had to say. That's just like so rude. But she does tell Billie Starkz just to lay down for her in the ROH qualifier. And I liked that that piece of this was there. That Athena, clearly she feels a little threatened by Billie, right? Like that's part of why she's clamped down on this attitude. So great storytelling aspect there, I thought. Did you like that there was just like this clear declaration of like, this is what you should do for me because the odds are stacked against me?
Yeah, I like the fact that Athena is just so much in the driver's seat and her confidence is through the roof that like her cockiness of being the forever ROH Women's World Champion has kind of gone into like delusion where she's just like,
a little delulu.
like everybody listens to me. I'm going on this world tour. I'm heading back to AEW, and I like how they're playing with that. They keep having her mention that in promos teasing that she's finally going to get the long-awaited call-up that everybody's been asking for her to be back on ROH, on AEW TV. And I like the fact that we could potentially see her use the International Women's Cup as a vehicle to get there as well. So it connects everything with Wrestle Dynasty, with ROH, with AEW, with the storytelling on that part. But just her just thinking that that Billie was going to listen to her. It's vintage Athena. Athena feels like a sitcom character sometimes with these backstage.
I think her comedic timing and comedic side, it came through in the beginning of this Minions angle, but she's been such a dominant champion and is such a good, serious promo that sometimes that gets lost. But I love that throughout this very long title reign, we've gotten to see so many different sides of Athena. It's been very, very fun, but I would love for her to win at Wrestle Dynasty. I do think it would also be a good device to get her off of ROH. Like if she loses the title to Billie and then they say, come home with that or don't come back at all, that could be a really, really fun farewell. Do you, not knowing who's on the other side of this, right? We only know Willow and Athena. I feel like it's Willow's to take based on the way she's worked CMLL and New Japan before with AEW and ROH. But what do you think of the two representatives? I think they're the two best you could probably put in that situation. Mercedes being a champion, also working on the New Japan strong side is an interesting wrinkle in all of this as well.
Yeah, I'm willing to hold my opinion on Mercedes' involvement until Sunday with Strong Style Evolved, with her versus Azuki in the main event.
Card.
It's a really good card. I got to chat with guys who were on this show today, the Grizzled Young Veterans, NJPW Strong, Openweight Tag Team Champions. Got to talk with them today about their matchup. With
you mean the sneaky bastards who stole it from TMDK? You mean that GYV?
That GYV. They said a little scoop here. They said that TMDK should be ashamed of themselves for allowing a non-tag team win World Tag League. They did say that. They said all the tag teams, all the legit tag teams out there in Japan should be ashamed Naito and Hiromu won the World Tag League.
Do you know how hard it is for me, who is dyslexic, to keep all these letters straight and then to do so when I am raging, when I'm so mad at GYV for saying that? Come on, man.
GYV. But yes, I'm willing to wait with Mercedes. So I understand if they didn't put her in there because they might save her for something bigger, because there is an IWGP Women's Championship matchup at Wrestle Kingdom. We don't know if that champion or the winner comes out and wrestles at Wrestle Dynasty as well to give them more Stardom representative, because I do think that card should get another women's matchup, especially with two different women's champions that represent New Japan. You should get one of them at least on that card. So I'm willing to hold out on that. But I think this is Athena's match to win the International Women's Cup. It feels like the type of tournament that could be used to help out, Athena going from Ring of Honor to AEW, because now she will have a guaranteed shot. She's been teasing it in promos over the last couple of weeks. It feels like it's time for her to finally come up to AEW after she loses the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship.
Yeah, I think that could go. I would love for Athena to win. I would love for them to, if Mercedes is going to be in this, for them to set that up. Could be very fun.
Yeah.
But I feel like either way this advances Athena to the main roster. I just wonder if it's going to be like lose and you're gone from ROH, or if it's going to be win and you're moving up to AEW. Like whichever way that goes, I think is going to be interesting to see. But we do also have our men's title picture to talk about, and I am glad that the crowd is into this. I am not. But before we talk about that, Tim McFowle saying, I'm adding Athena losing at Final Battle, winning at Wrestle Dynasty. Wrestle Dream and Wrestle Dynasty, and also having a dynasty is going to screw me up for the rest of my life. But then using the title shot to be Mercedes to the gay agenda. Okay. Also, if women don't main event Final Battle, there needs to be a Minion Uprising. Yeah. So, the way this episode was structured makes me a little nervous for what is going to main event. People seem to be into the Cardona thing. I am not. I don't think the in-ring is going to be enough to overcome this. There's no meat on the bone, as we found out in this promo. Like nothing was said in this promo, and that's a bummer. And nothing was said, not because Jericho doesn't know what he's doing, not because Matt Cardona doesn't know what he's doing, but because there's no feud here. Like, Matt Cardona's like, I'm sick of you, Chris Jericho. I'm like, you've been here for a week, man. Imagine how we feel. You're sick of Jericho? Damn, dude. But he does say, this isn't about proving it to you or to the crowd. This is about proving it to myself. I just don't love that Matt Cardona talks about reinventing himself on AEW Dynamite, goes through all the incredible heel iterations he's made on the indies, and comes in here as white meat, tan meat, but white meat babyface. And because he's against Jericho, he has to be, I guess. That is a contract signing to the end of the show. Chris Jericho really milks it. These segments where we're getting like 2 minutes of Jericho being Mr. New York have been some of the more entertaining things he's done, I feel like. But I said this last week, I continue to beat this drum. So much upside to Matt Cardona. So much upside to Chris Jericho. Even if this stuff sucks, like the guy knows what he's doing to get crowd reactions. When your ring psychology is as fine-tuned as Chris Jericho's is, like you're usually able to do something, even if your in-ring isn't what it used to be. ROH is a work rate brand. And a lot of times the matches can overcome the lack of story. I just don't think that the in-ring is going to be there to bail themselves out of this one. And there's no story. This segment to end the show was one of the most boring segments I've seen, because what is there to talk about, man? He calls Jericho fake a bunch, but like, all right, like there's just nothing about this that's grabbing me. It was getting crowd reactions live, so good on them. But from a viewer of the weekly product, I simply could not care less.
I totally understand, because this was devoid of any real kind of soul to it. There wasn't a lot of steak to the sizzle. There's a lot of sizzle, a lot of smoke and mirrors, contract signing.
Smoke and mirrors? Cody Rhodes is coming back? What?
But a lot of Jericho using wrong New York references, which is funny. I will say I agree with you. I think this is the best addition to his act in a very long time.
More fun in the 2-minute pre-tapes though than live, I gotta say.
100%. But him just standing in the ring waiting for Cardona wearing a Yankee hat. I was like, why does he look like every New Yorker New York Yankee fan that I've seen from upstate New York? I was like, he looked like he's from Binghamton or Albany.
Binghamton's my hometown. Do you know this? Do you know this?
I did not know that.
Huge prop for you even knowing what Binghamton is.
I know all these places. I used to be a door-to-door fundraiser. We used to go out and do road trips.
Way. No kidding. I'm so sorry that Binghamton was a part of your territory. No offense to my hometown, but also all the offense to my hometown. Like, it's not.
It was not always a good time, but no. He looked hilarious. I was popping myself with that.
Yeah,
but I can't reiterate this more. I know I mentioned this last week, but this would work so much better if Cardona was the special guest heel invader of Ring of Honor against Mark Briscoe, the defender of Ring of Honor for the ROH World Title in Hammerstein Ballroom. Man, this would be like Tommy Dreamer versus Jerry Lawler in 1997 type
I'll
of
take
reaction.
that.
Like that would be like the ultimate babyface. Everybody in Hammerstein behind Briscoe versus Cardona trying to come in and steal the ROH World Championship. Like, come on, this would work so much better. But like having Cardona come in now and referencing everything he's done outside of WWE in the last 5 years, but then having him not play that character, play a totally different character, that would be like when Cody Rhodes was about to be a free agent at the end of 2018 after a magical run as the top heel in the industry with the Bullet Club and the Bullet Club Civil War with Kenny Omega and stuff. And then WWE signed him then to make him Cody Rhodes in 2024. It's just like that type of like, whoa, that's a shift. Like it just doesn't work.
It's a little disorienting.
It gets you a little disoriented. I'm glad that it's getting a live reaction, but I understand if it's not connecting with everyone because it's just like, whoa. And also, I like Cardona. I like what he brings to the table, but like he can work way more effectively in any other way than what they're using him for. like it's just
like when you said, my thing with Cardona is one thing that I like about him is it looks real because he works stiff. And when you said Mark Briscoe, I was like, even just from an in-ring perspective, I'd rather see that lined up. Let's just dive right into conspiracy theoryville, okay? You and me. Right. Like some late night news host just making stuff up here. Do you think this is a GCW make good from the Starkz Cardona fallout? Let's speculate wildly. This is not a report. We have no information about this, but I'm just doing this.
We're going to do an alarm. Speculation alarm. So my reckless speculation here is that, yes, this is a make good for the whole Ricky Starkz drama, whole Willie Mack drama, which is just a whole bunch of all messed up on both ends. And I predict this leads to Cardona winning the ROH World Championship, and then Ricky Starkz showing up at GCW at Hammerstein Ballroom to win the Ring of Honor World Championship.
I love that conspiracy
If we're going to do all with conspiracy theories and reckless speculation, I got to go in hard.
If you're going to go in conspiracy theory village and it ends with Ricky Starkz back on my television, I am so in. Let the drama be true if that's the case. I would love that. I love that idea. I'm in 100% on that. But we're talking about the men's main event here. We're talking about how the women should be main eventing over this picture, but we've got some other main event players to tell you about. As we're fantasy booking here, why don't you hear from some people that do their own Fed booking? Why don't you hear from the main event players themselves? Well, from Sean talking about them, but that was a good segue otherwise.
Hey guys, I want to tell you all about the Main Event Players, a group of content creators who have banded together to change the game. They've got their Outside the Brand podcast on YouTube where they give weekly previews and predictions for wrestling and sports. I've got my notifications turned on, so whenever they go live, I get that notification on my phone. It makes it so easy. Great dudes, lots of charisma, just a great feel when you watch their show. And something else that I really liked, they do eFed stuff as well, which was a big passion of mine. So I really want you guys to check that out. Also, the Wrestling Room podcast on Spotify. A great concept. A wrestling couple takes their everyday conversations and records them for the world to hear. Something a little bit different than what you're used to. And if you want something new, you want something fresh, you want something different, check out the Main Event Players. Check out the Outside the Brand podcast. Check out the Wrestling Room podcast. YouTube, Spotify, they're all over the place. I'm stumbling all over my words talking about how all over the place they are. Check them out, the Main Event Players.
There you go, the Main Event Players. But we got some more love coming in from Shame Monster. Don't be Shame Monster. You're nothing to be ashamed of here. Saying TMDK SP3 Ninjas kick back.
Oh, I'm a huge 3 Ninjas mark.
Let's go.
Cult forever. Cult is my favorite.
There you go. Good choice. I think Cardona versus Jericho is like Jericho faced Colt Cabana when he was ROH champion the first time. Why to spite? I think that's a fair comparison. I don't hate that comparison. It's like they finally have a window where they're building something and they're not building anything. You know what I mean? Like there's not a story here because neither of these guys are on the show ever.
I'll give credit where credit is due. They're going hard with the push on this. It's been featured
They
on
are.
every AEW show since last week. They had it on ROH, the whole angle to set it up. Then they followed it up with Rampage. Then they gave Cardona and Jericho a promo on Dynamite. That we did a contract signing here. That we got Brian Keith and Matt Cardona on Rampage. I was like, all right, we get it. Y'all only had 2 weeks to build it, so you're gonna put it on as many shows as possible.
I do give them credit for that because the reason they're doing this is to get eyes on the product, right? So unless Cardona wins, which I guess would probably mean he's signed to ROH, but I don't think that's the case. I don't think that'll be the case. But we had another title that was on the show tonight with the Grizzled Young Vets who you talked to before. I'll never forgive them. I'll never forgive them. I love them. I love them so much. But like they took it away from my Shane and my Mikey. Come on, man. I very much like GYV and SP3. How long has it been since?
Oh yeah, we haven't touched tips.
We haven't touched tips in forever. Yeah.
It's been too long. It's been too long. There we go.
It's been too long. It's like an old friend. It's been a while since we've gotten to see MXM in action. We do get a silly vignette from them before promoting their collection. But I really
going.
It's so they've played this multiple times and it's on social media and I interact with both of them on social media. So like I've seen this video so many times that gets me every single time. This was one of my favorite matches since they've been in AEW though, like for real. I really liked what we got out of this. The chemistry was fantastic. I thought GYV winning with the grit your teeth on Mansoor. Nothing about that is surprising. But Manny, I felt like showed out in this a little bit, SP3. We were getting some really, really cool spots in here from him. Very clever. One thing I love about Manny is he's always very clever in the ring. But he really kind of got to stretch his legs in this a little bit. Like there were things that he just normally doesn't get the space to do. And this was a little bit more serious of a match, it felt like. And I mean, what do we say about Mason every week? Like he just is such a special combination of things. And when you combine what he can do in the ring as a big guy, and he does it so effortlessly. I think that's what always blows me away about him. Like the way he'll big boot you, like it's fluid and it took nothing out of him and whatever. Like he's really, really good with that. I've said this before. I'll say it again. You don't always have big guys that have the personality, accessibility that a guy like Mason Madden does and a guy like Big Bill does. And they need to be pulled to the front for that reason, in my opinion. Very charismatic. They have comedic timing. They're not just like a big guy with a manager and that's all they get to be. Take advantage of that. Like if you're going to make us watch The Learning Tree, have it against MXM and Johnny TV, and like we're starting to build there, and let us get that one-on-one match because it's such a different showcase and such a different avenue for what a big guy is in wrestling. Like it's not all intimidation factor on the character side. That just happens in the ring by the badass nature of both of those guys. So I love what we got there. And GYV, like this is the GYV I wanted to see since they came over to AEW. Not the goofy shit that they were doing on Collision, excuse my French. But like their ceiling is so much higher than what they were booked on the Collision side of this company. And I'm watching this match like, yes, this is what I've wanted to see. Also, Mansoor yelling, "Is that all you've got, you bald bastard?" in the middle of this got me so good, but loved everything about this. The chemistry was just there with these guys. And I especially love that. I felt like this was like a little bit of a showcase for Mansoor. He got to really do more stuff that I feel like I usually get to see him do. What did you think of our New Japan Strong Openweight Tag Team Championship match that TMDK wasn't in?
GYV, the best tag team in NJPW. Strong.
Now hold on just a second. You wait just one damn minute, SV3.
Those are fighting words. No, but this is a really good matchup. I was really impressed by the amount of time it got won. And like you said, Mansoor, he was cooking. He was cooking. He wanted to show off kind of a world of sport type style since he was versing two guys from England, from the UK, British wrestlers. He wanted to show off more of a European catch-as-can type style in the ring, and he really showed it off with different type of counters and arm work that he was doing throughout the matchup. Mason Madden, he's always impressive, and I just love their chemistry together. They always know where to be in the ring at the same time to hit a pose. That type of timing.
But there's ring IQ, and then there's that, right? Like ring awareness is great. Ring awareness to strike a pose is another level. Yeah,
it's
I'm with you.
Another level completely. And yes, I agree. This was probably one of GYV's better showings since coming aboard to AEW and ROH. I'm optimistic in regards to how they've been showcased, especially in ROH, and especially because they've been also, while getting a win here, they also furthered along their first storyline, their first feud on ROH as well.
As those New Japan championships look bright in their hands, I must admit they're fantastic. It was really good to see them just get some time and some, like, a match agent that wasn't like, let's handicap you in every way possible. Like, this was just a really solid tag team match. And to your point about Mansoor, like, part of why I love tuning into their streams, which if you don't, I would strongly recommend, like, when they went to Japan, he talked about how different it is to play to the crowd there. Like that the structure of your matches change because the sense of humor is different over there. The struggle through sport style is different over there. So you might not have as many like false finishes and things like that. Like it's just a different type of thing. So I just always appreciate someone that's acclimating to the room that they're in. And to your point, we saw that European mental and physical chess start to come out a little bit more with this. So really, really good stuff. And nice to have some title consequences on the show in general, right? Yeah. Like a lot of stuff with stakes tonight, which felt really, really good to watch. But
felt like a show that actually mattered this week, which we always enjoy. And we also got to note, these are two teams that were very much, like you said before, handicapped during their time in WWE. And they've really went and just hit the ground running ever since they left the company and really kind of turned their self around and risen their stock. So got to give it up to both GYV and MXM.
Yeah, I agree. It's almost like Zack Gibson shouldn't be a Cyclops in a creepy cult led by the Rock's daughter. Move along. But to your point, solid full episode tonight. It went 2 hours. Feels like maybe they're lining up for a TV deal. Like hopefully we get that announcement at Final Battle. That would be nice. But it was not lost on me that today basically ended at 2 hours on the nose. That I don't think is a coincidence. Nothing is confirmed yet. I'm going to assume that's a Final Battle announcement, so keep an eye and an ear out for that, but that would be the best thing that could happen for this brand. But we had other tag team action tonight as well. We had Turbo Floyd versus the Premier Athletes, them snubbing Truth Magnum up front, not doing the handshake. I said that I feel like if you don't do the handshake with Truth Magnum, he should go, "You can't handle the truth." But I think that movie came out past 1989, which is obviously where these guys are from. So, but they get the total recall on Tony Nese in this. The Premier Athletes continue not to be able to buy a win to save their life. I don't know what the deal with Josh Woods is. It is felony. People should be arrested for the fact that guy is not wrestling on my TV. We saw some repeats in the C2. They're all having really cool stories right now for the most part. But like instead of Brody King or Mark Briscoe eating losses, show the world who Josh Woods is and have him lose competitive matches, but be great. Have Anthony Bowens in the C2, but like Josh Woods, I feel like is built for a tournament like that. And just the idea of introducing an unknown into the tournament, I think could be such a presence maker. I don't know if he's injured. I don't know if there's something bigger going on, but like, what the hell, man? Where's Josh Woods? But anyway, the Outrunners beating the Premier athletes in just kind of a tag team match. No consequences. Perfectly fine. Nothing major going on here.
Yeah, Josh Woods and the C2 would have been good if he would have replaced Juice Robinson.
Oh, duh. Yeah.
It's like that was like the obvious choice, because I like what they've done with Brody King, because I don't know if I gotta hit it over the head with y'all, but they're using the C2 as a vehicle to turn Brody King babyface, or at least it looked like that. It sure feels like that, and it sure felt.
If that wasn't their intention, that's what's happening now.
Yep. That's what's happening, because it turned someone else heel, Ricochet, which I think he needs it. So like, I think that if they're using the C2 to kind of facilitate those two guys making turns, that's a good thing.
I'm going to throw this at you. Is Ricochet a face?
No, not really.
That was my thing. Everyone said he kept turning heel, and I'm like, I don't know if he ever was a face. Like, I feel like every promo he's had has left an alley open for him to join the Hurt Syndicate, whether he does or not. But I'm like, he came in against Ospreay, who's a face. The triple threat, Takeshita was the firm heel, and it was more like a gentleman's feud with Ricochet and Will Ospreay. But I was like, I don't think he's ever a face to be turning heel. Maybe a tweener, but everybody being like, oh, he's turning heel. I'm like, I don't know if he was ever, other than the crowd cheering for him in the traditional context. I'm like, I don't think there's been anything about his character that says I'm a babyface. He's not Mr. Go about things in the right way. Like, he could be a face that has an edge to him, but I feel like the heel turn is not as severe as people are maybe making it out to be.
Oh, no, I don't think it's like a severe thing. I think this is just going in the direction that kind of is going to suit him. And he needs to bring something different to the table that we didn't already see in WWE. And maybe that is him actually having a different character than what he played in WWE. And the way to do that is I will say, I love Ricochet. I think he's one of the most talented in-ring performers in the world today. But he does have a lot of kind of corny to lame to cringe quirks about him. He does some certain stuff, like when he comes out, he's doing this to his song and stuff. I mean, he popped me during the matchup with Brody where he gets powerbombed on the apron and he screams like Marlon Wayans on an episode. He's like, ah! I was like, oh, and then just his promo, the stuff he says, it comes off kind of corny or lame sometimes, and I'm like, that would work, though, if he's a heel. And I think that it's going to be better for him in the long run.
I think so, too. That scream made me think maybe he was joining Private Party because they're just yelping. All the yelping going on. But that Brody King match with Ricochet was one of my favorites of the tournament, unexpectedly. Yeah. But Tim McFowell saying the important things here. 2 important hashtags. Hashtag hire Veda. Hashtag justice for Josh Woods. I would love Veda. I would love a woman on commentary. She's the leader in the pack for the ladies on commentary, next to my incredible, stellar commentary career of going to Binghamton, New York, once a month to goof off. But we'll move.
See Kate at her next commentary job wearing a Yankee hat.
That'll be it. I probably have before. And sparkly shoes, just like Chris Jericho. But we got a Dustin Rhodes promo where he says that the righteous may have rattled him, but he always gets back up, and that Dutch crossed a line by invoking the name of Dusty Rhodes in this. It mentions the bull rope aspect of this, which is great. And he says that Dutch was a sick son of a bitch for this. But it was between them, and now the Sons of Texas would leave the righteous to rot forever and warn them never to mention his dad's name again. Sorry, my notes are a little mixed up. This was a big, keep my dad's name out your mouth. That's right. But we do have a response later. We got this match between the Sons of Texas defeating Josh Crane and Eric Dillinger with the Go to Hell into a crossroads on Crane, which was, I feel like Sammy's looked really good really good in this. But after the match, we get the Righteous responding here and Dutch storming the ring, or trying to at least, but Vincent calling his name to hold him back. They refuse to fight Rhodes and Guevara, and the only thing worse than invoking the name of Dusty Rhodes is the polka dot. So he gets some cheap heat off of that. The Righteous is held back by Sammy Guevara as Dustin tries to lunge at him here. So a good through line. This is one of the better built things I feel like on the card in general. I'm a huge fan of what they've done with this feud. They've really drawn some nice, I'm assuming fake history, maybe real history, I don't know, between these two teams, but I don't care, which tells you something. It tells you they're doing it right. I am all for the Righteous dethroning them. What did you think of this through line in the match, which was mostly a squash? But do you think we're going to have new tag team champions at the end of Final Battle?
The match, it was what it was. It was an enhancement matchup for the champions. I like them combining their two finishers, the go to hell down the crossroads, I will call it for now.
Wizard of Oz shit right there.
Down the Riches Road. One of those, it was a nice combo of their two moves. And I really enjoyed the build to this matchup. I think I said it last week or the week before. This is the best built matchup at Final Battle because it's been intricately kind of put together over week to week, episodically over the ROH TV. And it's very rare we get that. It feels very akin to the last time we had a major Righteous matchup on a Ring of Honor pay-per-view with their rivalry with the Dark Order, and that was very well put together leading up to Death Before Dishonor in what was that, 2023? 2023. So last year.
Yeah,
I know. I was like, it feels like so long ago, but it was last year. But this one has been really well put together. I really want the Righteous to win, but I don't know if that is down to them doing really good work because they have in this build and the rivalry, or my disdain for the fact that Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara are Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions, and the fact that I will take anyone to beat them. I don't know if it's my feelings as a fan or someone watching and analyzing the show why I want the Righteous to win, but I want the Righteous to win. That's all that matters.
Little of column A, little of column B, I think probably with that one. But last I knew, and I have no reason to believe that this is changed, but I know that there's a ton of internal respect for the Righteous, specifically Vincent. Not that I've heard anything bad about Dutch. So I'm hoping that the way that they weathered the storm of what one chat points out was the year it's taken for them to rebound what MJF did to them. I hope that this is their moment. I think they deserve it. I think they would be a very compelling TV act as well if TV is around the corner. They're guys that immediately grab your interest. So I think that would be a good way to go.
Oh, I had a Tiffany epiphany watching this matchup. Toodles. So I know the long-term plan because I gave y'all my reckless speculation fantasy booking rec spec, which I don't think it's going to happen. What I do think it's going to happen, I think that the long-term plan here is for the Sons of Texas to be tag team champions. They probably drop it to, I don't know, Grizzly. Give it to the Grizzly Young Veterans. They deserve all the tag team gold because they talk to me. And then you do Dustin going after the Ring of Honor World Championship against Chris Jericho, and he comes up short. And then eventually Jericho is dethroned by his former protege, Sammy Guevara. I already see it. I already saw it. It was like a foregone. I saw the future. I saw 2025 before all of y'all. Y'all welcome or sorry if y'all don't like spoilers.
Well, it's been nice having SP3 on the show for as long as he lasted. Sorry about that, guys. I'm sorry to subject you to that kind of analysis and behavior around here, but
the reason that Kate says that is because she's like, I actually could see that happening.
It's extremely possible. Sammy Guevara wins it probably at All In weekend. They'll probably do a whole thing.
They do a Ring of Honor event. They do a Ring of Honor event on like the day before All In, where Dustin loses to Jericho, and then at All In, Sammy beats Jericho for the Ring of Honor World Championship.
I really like you. Like, why did you do that to me? That's been great. I love you. I love working with you. I love you as a person. Why the personal attack? I don't understand. Why put that into the world? You know what powerful manifestors we are on this show. We say stuff and it comes true. Why are you putting that into the universe?
Because this is supposed to be simple, Kate. We saw this happen in 2022. It was supposed to be Jericho wins the Ring of Honor World title. Tony Khan negotiates with a cable company. They either say yes, say no, whatever. And then Jericho drops the title at Final Battle. But he ain't dropping no title at Final Battle to Matt Cardona unless he signed a contract. And Sean hasn't reported it yet. I don't know. But I'm worried with the fact that Jericho might walk out of Final Battle with the Ring of Honor World Championship. So I'm just trying to come up with whatever scenario that it would come from Tony Khan. I don't think that's a good idea, but I'm trying to think with my Tony Khan hat.
Tim McFowell calling it out. First, you insult me by interviewing GYV. And now this. And what's your name? True Heel SP3. I should have seen it coming. I should have seen it. We are like an NXT tag team. We had to break up at some point. You were going to turn and stab me in the back at some point, probably while we're holding the belts.
Probably right after we win the belts, like Cora Jade.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 9 days or whatever that was. Ridiculous. Hey, I got a question for you. How come Nigel McGuinness isn't actively involved in the ROH brand when they tape on the same day? Like, he was a judge today for this pure match, which we're going to talk about, but like, he's the SP3. He's the best. He's the absolute best. And he is so iconic and so synonymous with Ring of Honor. Why isn't he doing more stuff when they tape on the same day? I loved getting to see him as a judge here. What a fun touch. And what an easy setup for commentary to be able to talk about him, because Lee Moriarty kind of feels like a Nigel McGuinness-y champion in the way that he plays with the rules a little bit. Yeah. And I feel like Nigel McGuinness is the guy to be able to judge whether or not they're broken by him. But super fun match between Lee Moriarty and Matt Taven. This is some of my favorite work that I've seen Matt Taven do in a minute. Like, the promos going into this have been good. Seeing him under Pure Rules was really, really fun. But you do, of course, have Lee Moriarty retaining here. Kind of weird that this wasn't on the show. I don't know if they're going to run something back, but I had more fun watching this than a lot of stuff. No offense to the tag team title reign, and I love Mike Bennett. But like, getting to see him in this context, I was so much more invested than I normally am in Matt Taven. Lee Moriarty continuing to be a standout. Shane Taylor Promotions with the infantry coming out at the end of this, just looking awesome. Like, oh, loved it. Loved it. Trish Adora just like, look, she wrestled last week, so I can say this because like she hasn't been wrestling enough. But like, her coming out and just standing there with all of who she is, like all of that presence wrapped up into one human being. I'm like, my God, what I say it every week. I would simply choose to make $1 million with Trish Adora. But like,
simple decision.
God, watching them come out at the end, I'm like, that is a unit if you let them be one. Like, let them be one. But Lee Moriarty picking up the win here. Really, really good stuff. Really, really good stuff. I loved that it didn't close the show, but it was our main event match leading into that contract signing. What did you think of this pure match? I had a blast watching this.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun because we got to actually see Matt Taven like really wrestle. Like, he was on the mat doing some mat wrestling, doing some grappling at different
mat wrestling, huh? Matt Taven.
The mat wrestling by Matt Taven. And I love how Lee Moriarty broke it down like a chess matchup. He's like, I'm gonna make you run out of your rope breaks. If you get me in your submission hold, I'm gonna use one rope break, and then I'm gonna use one punch right to the face to gain some separation. And and then I'm going to submit you in the ropes because you can't use the ropes. Like, that was just brilliant. It was brilliant how it played out. It made Lee Moriarty look like a smart heel champion in the end. So this was really well done. And like you said, we got to see Matt Taven in a different light. So I'm hoping that we haven't seen the end of his chase of the Ring of Honor Pure Championship. I would like to eventually see him complete the set, but this was a good kind of first attempt at the title.
Well said. Well said. I love how Lee is cagey too. Like, he uses the Pure rules to be cagey. Doesn't really cheat. He'll be underhanded. But I love that Pure rules force that into wrestling matches. It's really, really fun. Just Ricardo saying Lee and Taven had their work boots on here. They did for sure. Right. Like, and in a 2-hour episode, man, those Pure matches really stand out because there's something different. It's what I like about the Heritage Cup on NXT. It's what I love about TV titles most of the time when there's a time limit. Like, just having something is so good. Billy Drapey pointing out Ian's commentary for MXM is always entertaining. He's so great and how he just plays into the double entendre aspect of what they do so much. Like, he'll just say things that are inappropriate and Caprice will call him out and he'll be like, what do you mean? Like, I was just saying what it was at face value, basically. Absolutely adore that. Absolutely adore that. Ian and Caprice is just so damn charming too. Like, I forgot what they were teasing each other about, but Caprice was like, I still love you though. I was like,
I love you too, man.
I love you too, Caprice. Damn. But
like, I know we had our problems, but I love you.
I love you so much. Even in the throwback match, which we're not going to talk about because we are starting late and running behind, but Caprice, even then, like, there's such a fun dynamic with Ian and Caprice that's been there. Even going back to, this was the throwback to 2021, the fight without honor between Shane Taylor and Kenny King. Do you want to tell me about how you were there for that? Probably.
I wasn't there for that. That wasn't
Sucker!
in New York. Wasn't in New York. I think it was in Baltimore or whatever. You know.
I think I was actually there for this.
There you go. See, look at this.
We got you covered, though. We got you covered.
The tables turn. But this was very STP eccentric kind of second half of the show because you got him in the throwback matchup against Kenny King. That Marcus Garvey driver through the ladder bridge always will make me pop. And it did watching this back. And then we got a video package with STP showing off all the members, including Anthony Ogogo, who's been off of television for the last couple of weeks.
Yes, he's a new dad. Congratulations to him.
Yes. Congrats to Ogogo. And then you got the big celebration at the end after Lee Moriarty picked up the win against Matt Taven.
More like Anthony Ogogo, right? Because the
Ogogo.
I know, but he's got the kid. See what I did there? You guys aren't going to believe this and you can't see it, but Joel Pearl is booing my pun in the background, just going boo, boo. So stick around for Joel and Cresta, who are going to talk all things TNA with you. I have a feeling Joel is going to be like, that was not the best episode, but we'll see. We'll see what he says.
It's a good bet. It's a good bet. He usually does say that.
I saw the lineup and I was like, this looks thin. So it's either setting the table for some really good stuff or it was a thin episode. But I think they have another special coming up. And I'm getting word.
Is it tomorrow?
It's tomorrow. I'm getting word that I was right the first time. Or not the table setting time. The thing that I said about it not being great. But me and Norm is saying in a bone and pork chop. In a bone and pork chop. That part is a baby back rib. In bone, in pork chop, that part is a baby back rib. Each year, thousands of pounds of baby meat goes uneaten. Meat strong, now let's crank. How is ROH? You are out of pocket for that one, sir. But ROH was pretty good overall tonight. We're going to round out these next couple of matches to talk about. We talked about kind of the biggest juice already, including the main event. So go back a ways if you're looking for the highlights. But we do get to see Allison Kay come back around here, which was very nice. I always say support Hex Workers because I find that should be a t-shirt that they have because I think that's a better pun than my last one. I don't even think
that is a really
but that's a good one, right?
Really good one. Really good one.
But we get Madison Rayne in action here. I don't know why she's picking up a win with the crucifix bomb, but she does. Random.
Why like that?
Why like that? I don't know who Allison K pissed off, but like what?
It was like Madison Rayne went for the crucifix bomb. She did the first motion for it, and then she pressed pause. She went and got a sandwich, came back, pressed play, and then did the crucifix bomb.
She went and got a sandwich. Little ham, a little Swiss. Go put a little spinach on it. There you go. I'm happy that Allison K is around. I hope it means bigger things for her here. This would not be indicative of that. This was just the matchiest match to ever match. This was just on the card. But I'm a big fan of Allison K. We didn't get to see a ton here, but she's been on the show before. She's looked great. I would love to see like a good feud like between her and Rachel Ellering. I think would be so much fun. Like how they're stylistically different, but I think pretty much the same in stature. I have nothing to say about this except for what the hell was that booking?
Pair Allison K with Harley Cameron. There we go.
Done.
Book it.
Done. You think they would face
Right.
Rachel Ellering? Rachel Ellering would need to find a tag team partner there.
Red would have to reunite with Leyla Hirsch.
That's right. God, Harlan Cameron rules. Looking forward to that Rampage match because that's just two deeply unhinged people. I'm not fooled by Rock or Toni Storm coming back. Something's still going on with her, but we have Toa Liona, who's been undefeated in tag team action for a while now. In a singles match with Lee Johnson, picking up the win with that springboard bonsai drop. God, that guy's smooth in the ring. Underrated. But EJ and Duca is there with Lee Johnson, and they got a little confrontational after this match. And yes, please sign me up for that like 10 times a day. 10 times a day.
Battle.
Oh God, yeah, no. Just the difference in energies too. Like obviously, like they're both big badasses, but Toa Liona has like this cool dominant whatever about him, and EJ has got like a little bit more outward flash. Oh, please all day. But last thing to talk about here before we bring in Joel and the beautiful Cresta, who looks amazing backstage. And Joel looks fine. He's not in the library this time, so you guys are in for a treat. But we do get a match set up here with Paul White, who's backstage with Jay Lethal and Sanjay. And Lethal is still aiming for a title match, but QT Marshall and Aaron Solo show up to bring the boom. All right, they're gonna bring the doom, and they challenge Lethal for a match, but he remains unconvinced here. But QT Marshall just doing what he does so well, poking the bear, saying that Lethal can carry Jeff Jarrett's bags, and Paul White is just frustrated and just books the match, which I thought was kind of cute. Like, it felt like a toddler getting under your skin, and because Big Show is so big, or Paul White is big, like, it just kind of felt like it was leading that way. But I'm assuming that's going to be a 0-hour match. Feels like they're shoehorning more main roster people onto the card, but Jay Lethal feels like an ROH guy, so I have a little bit less of a problem with it here. Your thoughts on that before we close out?
I don't think it's going to be on 0 hour. I think it's going to be on the main card because
why are you hurting my feelings today?
I'm
like
just
7 different
saying.
occasions.
I'm just saying.
TMDK lost to GYV, and then I interviewed them. I'm going to book Sammy Guevara to beat Chris Jericho for the title.
I wouldn't book that.
He's going to be on the main card.
I told y'all, anything I'm predicting like that is what Tony Khan would book. Not what I would book, but what Tony Khan would book. That's all I got to say. That's all.
Flick you out of here.
Don't hurt me. Jay Lethal, QT Marshall on the main event card. Main event of Final Battle, 2 ROH originals in the Hammerstein Ballroom. I can't wait.
It's going to go Athena and Billie, Jericho and Cardona, main event. There you go.
Lethal
and QT.
Marshall. They do a big angle at the end where Lethal, and I thought Lethal had bigger fish to fry. He didn't have any fish.
There were no fish fried.
There was no fish fried. He's asking Paul White, who am I facing at Final? I thought you knew.
Yeah, he was. I mean, all the champions are kind of tied up. I thought maybe they were going to do him versus Lee. I thought for the pure title, like, would have made sense. But
that would have made sense.
Tim McFall saying, I had a Tiffany epiphany. Kate needs to be TMDK's answer to Lexi Nair. TMDK should do all their interviews and ring announcing. That would be epic. I don't know if I could get through a Shane Haste interview without absolutely corpsing. That guy, anytime they have a post-match thing, like, I don't even think Mikey Nichols gets through him half the time. He's such a freaking goofball. He's so much fun. Whenever Shane's on commentary too, like we're new boot goofing over here. That's what goes on there. But we're gonna bring not bad timing wise, considering how loaded this episode was. Your host kind of knows what she's doing a little bit here. We're gonna bring Joe and Cresta in to take over for the TNA side of the show. I'll let them add themselves instead of playing like
it's me.
It's
you say add yourself and I pull up like I don't have anything witty to say. Hi everybody.
Hi beautiful, how are you?
I'm feeling well. I'm looking at Joel Pearl just stewing, simmering, brooding, if you will.
He's being stubborn.
Remember in AEW when we were getting those vignettes of Bryan Danielson just trying to like calm himself down and meditating? I think that's what Joel was trying to do to prepare himself for the show. Like before coming on here, he was just like,
or maybe he's Pac when he was in that closet. He was just like, I'm mad at everything. I got one eye.
It's possible.
Maybe I'm just Malachi Black and I'm waiting for someone to come and knock on my door.
Oh, I was going to say, I don't know how to turn the lights off for everyone on the stream, but...
You just hit end stream. It'll turn off all the lights.
There we go.
There you go.
Perfect.
There you go. My lights went off a long time ago. So Ricardo's saying that you look stunning. You do. You look extra stunning today. You look gorgeous.
So I shaved off the mustache for No Shave November, and it went to my eyebrows.
Love that for you. Love that for you. How was TNA tonight?
I had a good time. I surprisingly had a really good time for a go-home show. But we got Cynical Joel over here, but I'm also Care Bear Cresta, so.
I love that. Which Care Bear are you? Cresta Bear? Is it just like...
There's a joke in here about the number 420, but far be it for me to say it.
I see what you did there.
I'm
the Shamrock one. I'm the Ket Shamrock.
There you go. Okay. I was going to say, I'm going to need 390 of you to leave so that we have 1,420 people watching. But stick around. Stick around instead for this post show. We're going to let you take them home to finally a TNA special. It's been, my God, 2 weeks since we had one of those?
In 10 days.
2 weeks?
10 days. Oh, man. It's about time. It's about time.
It really made you wait for that one.
They built up such cohesive storylines over the past days. I'm just so excited for this well-built, such thoughtful bloodline cinema wrestling style in total nonstop action.
I'm looking forward to hearing you talk about that, as I'm sure that was extremely sincere. So I'm going to head out of here, but enjoy the post show. Stick around to hear what's going on in TNA before the special that's this weekend. And then ROH has a pay-per-view once a business quarter. You guys have one like every 2 weeks.
We're like the complete opposites over here. Like we're waiting 7 months for a pay-per-view.
Final resolution. And then Genesis is when?
January 19th, the same night as the GCW pay-per-view. So I've got my third man sitting on the sideline saying, I don't know if Sean wants me to do a post show for the GCW Hammerstein show. And I'm sitting there saying, it's not a pay-per-view. You'll be on our show.
Yeah, fair point.
I get that the Hammerstein show is big for GCW, but like, it's not a big pay-per-view show. Anyway.
Listen, Steven Jensen, Cody Rhodes isn't going to be on either one of them.
Steven Jensen. Don't do
You
that
know
to
how he feels
Steven
about Cody
Jensen.
Rhodes. That's his guy.
GCW already did Steven Jensen dirty by releasing that promo video, making it seem like he was the one calling GCW mid. When I was like, dude, why did they do that to you? It was someone else who sent a super chat.
This is so funny.
That's
So
true.
funny.
And he still rides for the promotion, so God bless.
God bless
I
him.
saw a post the other day from like a rumor account, so I don't put stock in anything, but that show's not selling particularly well. And the post just said, it would seem the promotional tactic of reminding everyone your last show there sucked isn't doing them any favors or something like that. I was like, you know, you might be onto something. You might be onto something.
Without getting too deep in the weeds, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays on Fightful Overbooked, they mean well. They clearly want this to be a better show than the first one, but they don't have access to the same amount of star power, which is a blessing and a curse, because what happened last time when they had that amount of star power, it didn't end up working out too well for them in the reviews category. This time they're bringing a lot of nostalgia acts from ECW back in the day. Like, some people love that, but it's not going to sell at Hammerstein because GCW is not as hot as they were the first time they did this and made it a big pay-per-view event that unfortunately fell on its face. And it sucks because I like GCW. It's just,
oh yeah. I think we're all rooting for GCW and independent wrestling in general, but they also don't have their biggest star anymore, Nick Gage, who was like the heart and soul of that. And you're also bringing a bunch of ECW talent back to Hammerstein. Like, you should do that at the 2300 arena.
Hammerstein is like the second home. It's like a second home.
And like, you can talk to just about any independent wrestler or anyone who works in wrestling. 2300 arena is like one of the worst venues to like operate in. It's not a knock on the actual venue. It's just, it's not set for that presentation anymore. Like,
no, it's okay for New Japan, but like other stuff, it's pretty brutal. And I gotta say, summertime in that venue, you need to take a break. You need to go outside and get air. It is whatever is not happening with the air conditioning in that venue is brutal. But we're not shooting on the 2300 arena or GCW talent. We're talking about how boring this go home was, or Joel is, and Crest is going to tell you why it was awesome. And I'm going to get out of here and I'm going to listen. So we'll see you on the other side.
Good night, kids.
Hey, Joel, complete the mission.
He didn't use that tonight. Instead, tonight's thing, I know that SP3 is gone, is the Path of Purpose from Mike Santana. That's the gimmick tonight.
I didn't mean to roll my eyes. This is the face I have.
Wow. I'm going to tell Mike Santana that you think the Path of Purpose is useless.
Listen, this is the face I have. It's the face I have. I can't help it.
Well, I'm back to my normal setup. Everything is normal again. How are you?
I'm doing well. My white cat is on the prowl. We had Buffalo Wild Wings for dinner, and she would like a taste.
Of course. Who wouldn't want a taste of the aforementioned wings that don't sponsor our program?
I mean, you'll be surprised. They don't actually come from buffaloes. They actually come from chicken.
I was going to say, they actually come from Buffalo. That's a hell of a delivery time.
I mean, to be fair, they deep fried it, and it was delicious buffalo.
They deep fried the buffaloes. And anyway.
Clowns, the both of us.
At our best. They've added one more match to Final Resolution.
Are we doing a post show for Final Resolution?
No. Especially now that we're doing a holiday stream on the Saturday during Saturday night's main event. I am not doing 3 days, 4 days in a row of this stuff.
I can't even go to the holiday stream because we're doing a post-collision show. So I can pop in for 2 seconds like, hey, guys, I got to start writing. Goodbye, jabronis.
I mean, you can pop in and out. It's not like there's 5 other of you on that collision post show. You can do it. People would like to see you.
I am a rebel without a cause. I'll do everything. Ooh, she's a little runaway.
Yeah, you'll still get paid. Who cares?
That's
anyway.
true. That's true.
It's fun for me because like we'll start the TNA stuff in a minute, I promise. Well, I got my start doing watch alongs on this channel. That was like that, and setting up the Twitch, the gaming streams. That was my gimmick for the longest time when I started out at Fightful. And now it's like Sean sent out the message, hey, we're going to do a watch along for Saturday night's main event. I'm like, I feel like I've been here before. And I feel like I moved past doing these, but I like the holiday stream. So I'll be there. And
I'll definitely pop in for a minute.
You should. It's a fun time. And if watching wrestling for a change, instead of us, trying to get viewer solicited questions that end up being really weird and mostly pointed towards Sean, it's a different beast.
I love it. I'll pull up. I'll be chaotic. I'll pop in and out because I'm a rebel.
Do it. You know how this stream thing works. You got up to 10 spots. So as long as they're not all full, you can get in on it.
Someone can always have my spot. I'll rotate.
People rotate out all the time. It's fine. But anyway, shall we do this?
Let's do the TNA gimmick. A,
B, C. Anyway, and a 1 and a 2. Hello, friends. We're back again. It's Fightful.com, and it's December 12th, 2024. It's time for your TNA Wrestling post-show. It's Impact. That's the show. I'm at Joel Pearl, and of course, the one and only fantabulous, amazing, fantastic. I used that already. Cresta Star is with me. Good afternoon, morning. What time of day is it? I don't know. How you doing?
It's always sunny in Valhalla. Also known as Sean's basement. I'm doing well. Had a good time with TNA tonight. I have never resonated with Tom Hannafin more tonight than when he was complaining about AJ Francis talking his way into a championship match. I thought this was a good go-home show. What did you think about the show tonight, Joel Pearl?
It was fine. This was their last grouping of content from the Fayetteville tapings, which were now a month ago. So here we are. We're at the end of the year. I'm thinking to myself, what's going to happen in terms of TNA for the rest of the year? Because again, so Final Resolution's tomorrow, the 13th. They're going to tape Impact on Saturday, the 14th. And I assume it's going to be 2 weeks worth of content, maybe 3. I'm guessing. So here's where it is. There are 5 weeks between Final Resolution and Genesis. So there's 5 weeks of TV, 19, 26, 2nd, 9th, 16th. So that's 5 weeks. I can assume the 26th, there's no content, no like new content. I'm going to assume the 2nd isn't. So that leaves 19, 9, and 16. So 3 weeks worth. That's probably what they're going to tape this coming Saturday, if I had to guess. And I'm ready for fresh content. Feels like those 2 weeks in the middle, they'll be doing best of, end of year, all that stuff. Announce a couple of matches for Genesis and get that stuff, the hype train started out. But other than that, listen, the show was fine. It's just, this is the end of that set of tapings. So it felt stale to me, but that's just because I know when it was taped. I'm sure people who were watching it live and didn't necessarily know the spoilers or weren't tracking when it was live, I'm sure they may have enjoyed it better. But it was a pretty paint by numbers go home show for Final Resolution, which is a plus event.
Yeah, I felt it was more hype than what the build for Final Resolution has been, if that makes sense. I feel like this go home made me a lot more interested in watching Final Resolution. But it also made me realize there's a lot of questions, and I don't want to think too much about it. Like, why the hell is Moose the X Division champion? I'm not going to question it, but why the hell is Moose the X Division champion? It's okay. I'm going to still watch it. I'm going to still watch Final Resolution. I'm not mad at it. The wrestling was very solid tonight. I'll give everyone their flowers. The wrestling was very solid tonight.
Yeah, it was. And if you want to be solid, do us a solid and go ahead and leave a thumbs up. Drop a like on this video if you haven't. See that little thumbs up button just kind of did a flash thing maybe on your desktop. Leave a thumbs up if you haven't already. And of course, subscribe to us here at youtube.com/Fightful. If you haven't already, join us at FightfulSelect.com, the best $5 in the business. You can gift memberships now through the holiday season and beyond. If you have that person in your life who's like, I like professional wrestling and I like professionally sourced wrestling news, and I like it when it's right, and I like it when it's hot and when it's fresh and when it's not aggregated. I want it from the source. Give your friends, your family, your loved ones, and maybe people you don't love, I don't care, give them the gift of Fightful Select this holiday season. You'll hear about some Saturday night's main event news. You can join us in our Discord where we drop scoops all the time. And Sean has an Ask SRS thread of his own where you can ask questions. And you can learn all about things like the new Anthem Sports president, Carlos Silva. No, not the MLB pitcher of yore, but instead this guy has a background in production and sports and so on and so forth. But we had the whole breakdown over at FightfulSelect.com, the best $5 in the business. If you want to donate a super chat right now, that gets our show a little bit more interesting. Any amount, get your question or statement read on the air, or Humper Chats. Cresta, I've talked enough. Tell them how.
If you head on over to Humper Chats, whether it's on your phone or on your computer, you can put a comment in the comment box and a dollar amount in the dollar box. And we get to keep a little bit more of the dollar in the dollar box. So if you put $500, we'll keep not $500, but more close to that $500. That'd be great if you did. I'm just saying. Hey, but no pressure. HumperChats.com. Do it for now. Do it forever. I'll choke you. Not for free, for a Humper Chat.
Wait a minute. Did you just say you would choke them for a Humper Chat? Because, I mean, you can. I don't think I would.
So our first match is, we start off with Moose with an in-ring promo. I don't want to talk about what I was going to say. And my brain just had a...
I mean, you were going to go there. I was going to mention that we have our holiday stream for the audio listeners. Our holiday stream is Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern. We're going to do a watch along of Saturday night's main event. I mentioned during the crossover, that's actually how I got my start with Fightful, was hosting the watch alongs during the pandemic. So I'm going to be a little nostalgic this Saturday for our holiday stream. Come and join us. That's basically the time when all of our staff get bonus, get invoiced, and get to hang out together on stream when we normally don't. You think we all hang out together outside of this? Mm-mm. You think Jeremy Lambert and I talk outside of our Monday, Wednesday, and Friday? Mm-mm. You think Cresta and I talk?
Pearl in real life. Never met
Most people have. Well, that's a lie. A lot of people on the staff have, but you know, we just doesn't mean I like them. Oh, that's mean and honest.
Damn.
So anyway. Oh God. Anyway, let's move on. Yes, you mentioned Impact opens up with Moose. He cuts a promo, says everyone's talking about Moose, not Nick Nemeth, not the Hardys, or Joe Hendry. Hendry doesn't even have a title, so that was a little weird for him to bring up, but who knows? Maybe that's a plan. Cody Deaner comes out.
Why? That was my question.
Tell him that it's crowd shtick, loser.
Why did you want to get beat this way? Two clowns talking about TNA.
Oh God. Says he respects that Moose is the champion, tells him to shut up. The lovable loser fan service shtick is what it is. It's really, Cody Deaner has a gig backstage. He's not just a wrestler. He does other things with TNA and he does it really well. He's great. This is just one of those times where I was like, we didn't have anyone else for Moose to squash. There was no one local. Couldn't have fun with nothing. Oh, it's Deaner. Deaner gets kicked in the face. They do the match. Deaner gets his little hope spots in where he does the reversal pins. Moose puts an end to that, spears him, gets the win. I know your favorite spot, Cresta, so I will let you go on about it.
What? Oh, when he was doing the Booker T?
Yeah.
All right. So first of all, to rewind it just a little bit, Moose made a really good point because Deaner was like, I wanted to quit pro wrestling. I wanted to give up, but I listened to the people and I'm in love with pro wrestling. And Moose was like, ever since you started listening to the people, you've been losing. I was like, damn, Moose, he's already down. While Moose was first of all, there's a certain level of disrespect when it comes to certain moves and certain things in professional wrestling. I think the angle slam is the most disrespectful move because all your limbs are in the air and you just look like a bitch. It's like a rag doll. This is also one of those things that are incredibly rude. You mean to tell me while you're beating me up, you're kicking me, you're not even in your gear, and you comment, cheer for Cody, say his name again, And the moment those words left my lips, Tom Hannafin said those words as well. We were here tonight, Tom. You and I are soul brothers and sisters in harmony, in violence. That was fantastic. Moose is a piece of crap. Kayfabe. Respectfully, I live. He's the worst. He's the worst heel you could ask for. Like, oh my God, trust the system. Why do you have the X Division champ? And I thought he said he was going to cash it in. He was like, I'm going to make this the most relevant title. After you just talked about how you should be champion. Yo, Moose is this is top tier. I like this. This is what set the tone for tonight because Moose, I knew you were out here working tonight. Tonight he clocked in.
Yeah, he got his heel heat. It was fine. It was just I don't know. Diener is easy to do that with when you're just trying to get heat and you're just trying to do that. It just felt like you've got Kushida. Kushida's nowhere to be found during this whole match setup, whatever. It's just happening. So I guess this is why sometimes the plus show builds are a little obnoxious to me because they're just doing stuff around all the other stuff. And this felt like one of those times because I don't know if I don't know if they had access to Kushida. I don't know if they trusted Kushida to do something like promo wise. I don't know, but he wasn't there. He wasn't part of this whole thing. Diener gets to be the guy who gets beat down, and Moose gets a little bit of heat. We'll talk about Moose a little later because there's a system promo. Mike Santana has a promo, though. Talks about the path of purpose that he's on, trying to get to that main event at Genesis. Then he gets interrupted by Northern Armory. This is something I actually really love. Whenever somebody steps into frame to interrupt someone's promo, you rarely get this. And this was probably the first time I've seen it. Santana points out, oh, you didn't see the guy, the director, yelling pre-tape? I thought that's great. It's those little like peek behind the curtain, like this production vibe. You didn't see this coming. This is what's happening. And then Alexander is like, I've done all the stuff you've done. I've beat all the people you beat. I sent your ass packing the first time when I was with the North. He didn't say the North, but he talked about it. He made reference to it when he sent LAX packing. I was there for those matches in Toronto. That shit happened. I like that they drew that history. Santana still on that path. If he ain't winning tomorrow night, I will be surprised if he doesn't have that Genesis main event. What do you think of this with Santana and Northern Armory?
Santana can't catch a break. This is like twice he's just been minding his business and somebody just pulls up. If Santana went around the back and just started slapping people, he would be absolutely justified. That being said, I do like that touch of, bro, you heard the director yell and then you're going to wander in. Also, I got to give it out to Icarus and Williams because these guys were being the freaking worst. And again, much like Moose, Josh Alexander is being a jerk. Maybe this is just a curse in wrestling that if you're bald, you're an asshole. But these guys, like Josh Alexander really just pulling up on it. Like Santana said 2 sentences, maybe 2 1/4 before Josh Alexander was just like, yeah, like, yo, bro, get out of here. Get out of here for real. I love this heel run that Josh Alexander's on. I'm still flabbergasted because I thought I'd never see the day that people are legitimately booing Josh Alexander in TNA. And Mike Santana, when he does get his hands on the championship and or Josh Alexander, this is going to be fantastic. What a superb match in the brewing. Everyone here played their part. I can't wait for Judas Icarus and Travis Williams to get beat up by Mike Santana again.
And here's the reality of it. I like that this builds up the potential for Alexander and Santana. As Alexander's mentioned, Josh Alexander, his free agency starts the middle of February 15th. He mentioned that on Chris Van Fleet's show. There is a possibility that if Mike Santana captures the title at Genesis, instead of having to do the Nick Nemeth rematch, you do the Josh Alexander match, the one-on-one, and Santana wins that match. Josh Alexander puts him over. And once again, Josh was heart and soul of TNA. Give that over to Santana.
And he could definitely do it. Santana could definitely do it.
And that's the proverbial passing of the torch, the ceremonial passing of the torch. And then over in our Fightful Select Discord, we were kind of talking a little bit in the TNA channel about what happens to Sinner and Saint, because those two guys just got paired up with someone who's leaving. And I kind of mentioned it's not imminent. Like it's still a couple of months away. And that's a lot of time to tell a story of Sinner and Saint eventually either breaking away from Josh Alexander and becoming a hot babyface tag team, or they're inherited by somebody else like Frankie Kazarian. I'm just throwing names out there. There's a chance that either they go to someone else or they break out on their own. And I wouldn't be surprised if in 2025 you see Sinner and Saint having a hell of a year, and it all comes from Santana and Alexander having a great passing of the torch moment on Alexander's departure.
Not mad at that. And I will also say right now in the TNA tag division, there is a little bit of a hole with Chris Bay being injured. Get well soon, homie. I do think that Sinner and Saint would be a beautiful addition to the tag division, considering right now who we have. We have them, we have the System, we have Rascals, Jake Something and Hammerstone, PCO and Sammy Callahan. We've got a good thing, but we have a good roster, but some of those teams I think are not serious teams, Franken teams. You do have the good hands. Someone like a Sinner and Saint, whether they win the tag titles or they're always in contention, not mad at that. And that'd be a great setup for eventually when Chris Bay does get back. Then you've got Sinner and Saint established to also go against the Rascals, to also go against ABC. These already established tag teams.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see where time kind of leads us, but Sinner and Saint are poised for a big 2025. And so is Xia Brookside. She loses to Rosemary tonight, but you had commentary basically putting over Xia Brookside the whole match, talking about her upside in TNA for long term, talking about Jordynne Grace praising Xia Brookside. You can tell Rosemary's on the up. They're trying to build her for something, presumably an opponent for Masha. It's a good back and forth match between Brookside and Rosemary gets the win with As Above, So Below. And then post-match, Jordynne Grace makes the save. Xia Brookside's getting beaten down. Then they announce Jordynne Grace versus Rosemary at Final Resolution. And that is interesting to me for everything I just mentioned about Rosemary, and it's Jordynne Grace. And I don't know if you want to keep beating Jordynne Grace every time she has a big match. What do you think of Rosemary and Xia? And what do you think of this addition to Final Resolution?
I think my throat is now wanting to give up the ghost when I need to talk.
Perfect.
I'll be honest with you, I didn't really care for this match. Just thought it was a lot of screaming. That's just me. Didn't mind it. But also that same reasoning you said of okay, we're pushing Rosemary. Jordynne Grace is coming out. Final Resolution, Rosemary versus Jordynne Grace. Ooh. What are we going to do here? Are we going to make Grace lose again? But at the same time, like you said, I can see them building Rosemary. Maybe this could be, you and I spoke about a swan song, putting someone over on Grace's way out. Maybe this could be it, but not for nothing. Rosemary doesn't need it. She's very established. I could see you doing this for a Brookside. I could even see you doing this for a Savannah Evans. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not a booker. I'm just a jabroni who watches wrestling. So I don't know what the choice here is. The match itself was fine. The wrestling is not the problem. I just didn't connect with this match, and that's just me. The reason why I didn't connect with it, if I'm gonna be real honest with you, was the finish was a little weird to me. I'm like, okay, I guess. Oh, it's over. Okay,
that's her finish. That As Above, So Below. It's the wing clipper. It's the same one that Garza does in WWE. It's
I don't like that either. Maybe it's the move. It's me, Jesus.
It's the idea that it's not a head compacting move. It's a spine compacting. You land on your bum. So
it's something about the setup to me. And again, this is just my 2 cents. It don't make $1, but something about the setup to me just feels kind of like, eh. And the same thing with when Brookside was going into with this series, that pinning combination that went into a rear choke. And I was kind of like, meh. And then it's like, oh, it's over. Okay, wait, I forget. That's her. That is her finisher. You know what I mean? It's just me. It's just
I get it. People are agreeing with you in the chat. They don't like the move. That's fine. I see the reason for it, but I also understand why people might not be a fan of it. That being said, I don't know where Rosemary gets the inevitable title shot in this build.
Yeah.
It feels like maybe that's a Impact match at this rate, but they haven't done. Again, this is the issue with doing 2 live events on one taping, while trying to build 2 live shows. You know what I'm trying to say? Because there was the build to Turning Point that was part of this set of tapings. And then the build to Final Resolution was also a part of this taping. So Savannah Evans, Laying Lee, both nowhere to be found, except for Savannah Evans eating the pin to Rosemary at Turning Point. So everything you and I have been saying about the possibility of maybe building a returning Savannah Evans and a building Laying Lee, she did a match with Masha on Bloodsport. Other than that, she hasn't been around. If the match is Rosemary and Masha at Genesis, I don't know how I feel about that. And it's not a knock on either woman. It's just not the match I'm looking forward to seeing when there are those other two matches that we've talked about off to the side. So I'm curious as to whether or not that's just going to be like an Impact match, or if they're going to build someone else up for the Masha match at Genesis.
I mean, I would be interested to see where the storyline takes it if it is going to be Rosemary versus Masha. But the way they're kind of framing it is Rosemary versus Grace because she's been stalking Grace. So I hate to be that guy. I'm going to let it play out. But you have 30 minutes, TNA.
Pretty much. They're on the clock. Gia Miller meets up with Trent Seven and says, "It's my pleasure to announce that you have a match against Ace Austin at Final Resolution." Sure. Austin cuts off Trent Seven, tells him off. Now that's going to be a match tomorrow night. It's cute that it's Gia who gets to do that with Ace Austin, considering they're an item in real life, blah, blah, blah. Although Gia Miller did just turn on Ace Austin at Revolver. So, you know.
Listen, sometimes couples fight.
And sometimes those fights don't matter from promotion to promotion. I get it.
It's not canon. What happens out there is not what happens in my house.
Depends who you ask. Either way, Austin, Seven. It's another match added to the card for tomorrow. It's fine. Don't have anything else to add.
I do agree with Trent Seven when he was like, "How I pinned this guy." I'm like, I mean, he got a point. He got a point.
He cheated to win. At least that was something Ace Austin pointed out.
Yeah. You know, when I say that this is going to be a good match in wrestling, but I'm not quite sure about the storyline, this is one of them.
Yep. Rascals defeat Leon Slater and Laredo Kid. This is hilarious. This was like, again, every week or every time we talk about Leon Slater, it's like showcase for Slater. Look great. Everything's fantastic. Fun, fast-paced match. Everything was really fun. Rascals are back on the same page in tag team land. They win the match. But a luchador is in the match, so clearly they have to get pinned for the win.
Bro, my little brother was here. And we were watching it. He's like, "Oh, it's nice to see Laredo Kid back." I was like, "Because he's here to take the pin." He was like, "That's not true." And sure enough, once Leon Slater got kicked out of the ring, my little brother just looked at me like this. I was like, "Hey, I watched the product. Laredo Kid cooked this match, but I knew what it was.
The one thing I almost feel bad letting people in on who on a more mainstream channel about this whole thing, what was this? Was the whole, if you're a luchador in TNA, you're gonna lose. Like
sometimes you win. It's like maybe out of the 100 episodes of TNA where I've seen a luchador be randomly inserted, maybe 3 or 4 times. Maybe they've won. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, Kid got himself a match for a title recently. Like, but other than that, like, yeah, the digital media championship for a minute, and then AJ Francis beat him at a taping. Like 9 times out of 10, if you're a luchador, TNA, you're out. You're not gonna.
They pay on time.
Like, compared to other places, absolutely. The system have a promo.
Do you want to know? I'm sorry.
You didn't even get that, and I know you love that. Do you want to know?
We did in the very beginning. Oh, I had it muted, so I'm not sure. I was getting my wing stop.
I must have missed that. You've got the tag title guys going after the Hardys, saying we've been inspired to put them through a table. That's talking about Myers and Edward Edwards, and then JDC and Leon Slater are going to have a match. That's on the pre-show. Looking forward to that, by the way. JDC's like, I'm going to get weird, and I'm like, it doesn't take much to get there. And then Moose is like, I'm going to continue being the greatest TNA X Division champion ever, in what was very clearly something that took multiple tapes for him to get out. It was just, I know you were like, Moose had his working boots on. He was really good tonight. And I'm just like, then we got to this promo, and it's very clearly cut that it took a few times for him to get out what he needed to say.
I thought it was just me, because in the beginning of that promo, his eyes was rolling like, I got shit to do, this chicken shit ass promo.
my Uber Eats is here. Come on.
Yeah, I want to eat. I'm hungry. I'm over this. I will say, JDC say, you about to see how weird I'm gonna get. Hey, yo, like, hello, officer. Yeah, this guy right here, like, he being weird. I didn't get that. Like, JDC, you're a good wrestler. You're jabroni in the most respectful way. Like, you make me laugh. I'm sports entertainment. But say you gonna get weird, sir.
he's
With
got
the fashion
plans.
police.
He's got plans, but this is one of the fun things about it. JDC, if Leon Slater beats JDC, Leon Slater gets to say, I beat a member of the system. Guess who else is a member of the system? The current X Division champion. So at least this gets Leon a little bit closer to a match with Moose, maybe as early as Genesis, as they build to that.
And I could see Leon Slater beating JDC. I could see JDC getting overzealous and Leon Slater say, psych.
Yeah, no, I'd love to see it. And I do think that this match will be a lot of fun. It's on the pre-show, so it is free if you're not going to watch it on Final Resolution. So this is one match where like both guys know how to work. They clearly know who's up next, and they're going to go. And it's going to be fun. Like the pre-show really does look good. I mean, that and Frankie Kazarian and Gresham, those two matches alone, those are going to be fun matches to watch.
I low-key feel like Moose, let's just say I'm gonna book this fantasy real quick. If Leon Slater does beat JDC, I could see Leon Slater making the claim that I did beat someone of the system. You should give me a title shot, Moose. Last time Moose and Leon Slater wrestled, Leon really took Moose to the limit. Wouldn't it be funny if Moose, I'm not fighting this kid again. No, I'm calling my shot with the X Division Championship. I don't got time for that.
That'd be funny. Calls an option C. I think it's more likely that he beats JDC and then he has to beat Myers, then he has to beat Edwards, and then that gets him to Moose. That's it. He just beats all the members of the system. That seems to be the way to get to what you want in the system world.
It seems you don't want to know something because you already know something, Joel.
I mean, I want to see Lish and Leon Slater have a promo in the ring. So,
do you want to know something? Honestly, I hate that I say that in real life now.
It's gotten into your brain.
Oh man, it's in my vernacular now. Jesus, man.
I'm sorry. I'm not sorry, but anyway, I am sorry to have to talk about this next match. Sami Callihan and PCO. They win it by DQ. They beat Hammer something. It was fine. Sammy beats something or bites something. Listen, Sammy and PCO are a perfect tag team because it's a tag team of two men who equally hate their bodies.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Hammerstone goes to use a chair on PCO when they're setting up for that little tossy finisher that Sammy and PCO are doing. PCO no sells it. Hammer something leave. Then they do the 23 tees. And two things. One, this is going to get dragged out for how long? I don't know. Two, I still think it's Sami Callihan. Our Fightful account posted, who do you think it is? And you saw what I said on Blue Sky, but also our friend Tape had mentioned TNA turns 23 this year. And then he said something about like Mike Tenay is going to come back and fight Tom Hannafin. That part's hilarious, but he does make reference to he's right. The company is going to be 23. It's like, maybe it's something about that. Maybe it's something about Slammiversary this year, or who knows, but I still think it's Sammy.
I don't have an idea. I thought, isn't it Taz? Wasn't Taz's numbers 23? Or was that
no,
Michael
he's 13.
Oh, I thought it was a 3.
Michael Jordan was 23, which is hilarious.
Michael Jordan's going to come and wrestle in TNA? Oh my God, at 9,000?
That's what everyone's saying now.
Honestly, I have no idea what it is. TNA being 23. Okay, I'm here for that. But what about all the time it was Impact? But never mind.
No, it still counts. But like, what do either of these guys have to do with it? Like, what does PCO have to do with it? What does Sami Callihan have to do with it? I feel like it's just Sammy. It's just Sami Callihan. It's the same thing over in WWE world. You've got the Jade Cargill thing, and you've got Naomi being like, "We're gonna find the person who did this," and it's almost very clearly it's Naomi, in my opinion. And Sammy backstage last week was just like, "Do you know who did this? We got to find the person who did this." And I'm like, "It's clearly you. You're the person who did this. You're just overcompensating for the fact that you did this, Mr. Hacker Man."
This is Madman Fulton's doing, actually.
Cody Deaner showing his edge again.
He let the fans decide what number it was, actually.
Let Sammy have the Digital Media Championship. Maybe he'll do something in Digital Media World with it. Because God knows the last two champions sure as shit have not.
I'm not going to hold you, and I hate to say this. Put the Digital Media Championship on AJ Francis. He's all over my feeds. Like, get out of this man is literally on digital media. Get off of my feeds. But for all of that, give this man the championship. Stop playing with him. He's 9'9". He's disrespectful. And he even has an album, man. Come on.
What do you think of that diss track you dropped today, AJ Francis?
I heard that against my will. I heard that against my will,
It
man.
wasn't so bad. It wasn't great. It wasn't so bad.
Listen, man. My little brother was playing it. He was like, oh, he was getting him. And I heard the track. I was like, man, I don't want to hear that. I felt like Sway when what's her name was rapping. Iggy Azalea, and the caller called in and said, get that shit off the air. I hate to say, I'm so sorry. I sound like a hater. I'm so sorry. I didn't want to hear it. Good for you. I'm glad I'm sure someone wanted to hear it. Not me. Personally speaking, respectfully. I don't know anything about music. I just, I'm a classical nerd. It doesn't matter. Anyway.
Clip this, send it to AJ, let him know.
Yes, I'm from the Bronx. I fear no man. Unless you're from Wakanda or Asgard, we could run it.
I mean, that whole rap he's going off about how, saw his first drive-by at 7, made his first million at 17. I don't know what it was. It's fine. It's fine.
Like I said, I heard it, and it was a terrible day for ears.
That is the final resolution card. Rascals versus Hammer Something versus Sammy Callahan at PCO. I assume that's going to lead to someone getting a tag title shot. Hammer Something versus the Hardys.
That's not fair.
That's something I wouldn't hate seeing, because those two could beat the shit out of the Hardys and make it look good. But now that the Hardys have announced that they're with TNA for another full year, part of me is like, oh, they'll keep those tag titles a little longer than planned.
I would like to see Hammer Something versus the Hardys, but when I say that out loud, my first thing was El Darabuse.
I mean, listen, the Hardys are doing a table match. They're doing a ladder match as we speak right now. It's them and Violence is Forever. They're having a match right now.
Versus Violence is what?
They have a match right. I shit you not. Over on Fourth Rope, they're doing a show at Center Stage tonight with a bunch of TNA talent, and I hope to Christ that they all survive the night, because they got to work a bunch of them tomorrow. And like, the Hardys are doing a ladder match, unless it's been called. I don't think it has. And then they have a table match tomorrow night. So have fun.
That's what I say to y'all. Do it, because I could never. My knees, my back, just hearing the hour of the band, like we want to go into the retirement home.
I am so incredibly curious about how that's been going. I'll find.
I respect it. I respect it. Keep it up, Team Extreme.
Good on them. I really don't know how TNA let a lot of these people work who are working tomorrow night work tonight's show, but it's not my problem, not my circus, not my monkeys. I don't care.
Tis but a flesh wound, Joel.
Sure. Danny Luna defeats Heather by Elegance. They have not announced that the Knockouts tag title match is happening at Final Resolution, so I assume the tag titles will switch hands during the TV tapings the next night.
That's crazy.
Iceman comes out, calls them miserable, no good, low down, dirty, rotten bunch of hillbillies, and then says there's no class in this military town. And then he gets thrown out midway. So that's fine.
Not even midway, 2 minutes in. He starts cheated 30 seconds in.
It was a 4-minute match. What do you like?
Okay, you know what? You got me there. You got me there.
Midway is still there. Heather Reckless is doing great, by the way, in this role. I like that she's presenting really well as like this character, this elegance, whatever. She deserves the tag titles that she's going to win. And the match is about Danny Luna having her leg worked over throughout the match. Ash gets involved towards the end. Jody Threat does the running through suicide dive on Ash to take her out. Luna hits Luna landing, gets the win, and we're off to the races. When is that match happening, and why hasn't it been announced yet?
They want to tease us. I did like Heather Reckless. I mean, Heather, I don't want to get fined like Tom Hannafin. I do like Heather by Elegance's gear. I did love Ash by Elegance's shoes. Listen, I don't know if you ever hear this, Ash, but send me a DM. Were those SJPs? Were those the clear ones with the diamonds on it? I want to know, because those were really cute from the tapings. Anyway, I used to. They're growing on me, and I hate it. The Elegance girls are growing on me like a rash, and I hate it. 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 I did like Danny Luna, who the TV makes her look short, proving to a shorter girl that I'm taller than you. That'll always pop me.
Short, but like stout. She's built like she can beat the shit out of anyone. She's great.
Yeah. Her and Jordan Grace, if you told me to draw them from memory, I would just draw a muscle. The fuck?
I just draw a block, and that's it. They're great.
They're great, and honestly, I'm afraid. Yes, I don't care. I'm soft. I would say yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. I shut up now.
That's fine. Joe Hendry, Nick Nemeth, and Masha Slamovich defeat Tasha Steelz in first class in the main event. Hannafin really doesn't want AJ Francis to be the TNA champion.
He was on Nigel McGuinness levels of, I don't understand how he talked his way into it. Like, he was spitting, he was right. Because AJ Francis literally just said, I'm going to be loud and I'm going to get a match. And Santino said, you know what? Sounds like a good idea to me.
I mentioned Tape earlier. Tape said, and I quote, fascinating to sell Nemeth versus AJ Francis on this big galoot absolutely does not deserve to be getting a title shot. He says, I'm kind of into it because it's something a little different. And my response was, quote, does JBL care enough to take out the guy we're saying doesn't deserve a title shot? Tune in tomorrow to find out on TNA Final Resolution.
I mean, that's very apt. Very apt. Is JBL going to take his hat off, or is he going to put his feet up?
He's going to show up
tomorrow.
He's going to show up tonight at that fourth rope show. Be like, oh, I'm a day early. All right, whatever.
Honestly, like, I want to know what's going on with this. I'm tired of them dragging their feet about it because it's making me miss JBL from APA. I know we'll never get that back, but when I see this, I'm like, yo, just dye your hair black, put that mustache back on, and drink some damn beer. I've had it.
It's just, yeah. We talked about it last week. If you cannot progress the story given the tape nature of your show and you only show up for the live portion and you just throw a lariat and go, give me more because otherwise there's nothing to look forward to in the main event tomorrow night. And for all I know, the main event is actually going to be the Hardys because it's tables match and it's still the tag titles. Like, you can run it and I'm sure people would love it as the main event. Meanwhile, this is the main event of the show and it involves the Knockouts champion, the world champion, and the challengers. Of course, Casey Navarro is the only guy not in a match tomorrow night. So knick-knack, paddywhack, Casey Navarro eats a pin.
I mean, I got to give it out to Casey Navarro. He is somebody who, in that braggadocious heel role, he's up there with Moose being the worst, with AJ Francis literally being the worst. And I got to say, even from the promo earlier, does it feel like Tasha Steelz fits in perfectly with first class? Like, I wouldn't be mad if they said she was the first lady and they started beefing with the system and got more people into first class, because I don't know when Rich Swann is coming back and that's already 3 guys. You need another dude in there, or if you get 2 other dudes, I could totally see it. But Casey Navarro, Tasha Steelz, I got to give Casey his flowers because he fits right in. He's so braggadocious. He's the best worst. Like, honestly.
Hot take, leave Casey as the only guy in first class with AJ. Don't bring back Rich Swann is what I'm saying. And that's not a knock at Rich Swann. It's just this team works better.
I can't even say who you would fit in there that would be braggadocious that could fit in there. Maybe Leon Slater, but I don't want him to touch that right yet. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, what was his name who was with Kenny King? Because he would be really good in there too.
Sheldon Jean.
I don't know where's he at? Where he been at?
Big brother.
Sheldon Jean Tappan, where you been at? But yeah, like, no, I see what you're saying there too. But if we progress them and you want to have them fight the system.
By the way, the Sheldon Jean did work Maple Leaf Pro, so because he's Canadian. So there's that. Yeah, chat saying add Tasha Steelz to first class. You could do that, sure.
She seamlessly fits in. And I'm just thinking, if you add her in there, like, what would she be doing? What would they be doing? And I immediately think of the system. And like, hate or love the system, I think right now they're a good driving force. If you want to beef with some heels that people are just going to boo, it'll be the system. So
yeah, the match was fine. It was a 6-person tag, and it was a build for the final resolution. Post match was AJ Francis immediately just takes out Joe Hendry. Steelz goes after Masha Slamovich. Francis spears Nemeth. Masha bites Francis. Steelz hits a cutter on Masha, takes her out. Francis hits a down payment and 2 choke slams on Nick Nemeth. Stands tall with the title while basically tells us he's not winning tomorrow night.
Wouldn't it be a gag? No, if it was somebody else, maybe I could see them say, you know what, let's put a little fire on it. A little fire. But Nick Nemeth, nah, dog. Sorry.
That's basically all there was for this show. Tomorrow night is Final Resolution. Let's run down the card real quick. Maybe you can give me some hot takes if you got them. Let's start with, we already talked about Leon Slater, JDC. Who do you think is winning that one?
I think there's a case for Leon Slater to win. However, the system is known for cheating. So I'm going to say Leon Slater. But if the system cheats, I also called it.
Yeah, I think Slater wins. Frankie Kazarian, Jonathan Gresham. This is an interesting one. Well, Gresham's also, leaving the company soon. So I think Frankie Kazarian wins, rolls on.
Same Kazarian time to cheat, baby. Spike hit that.
And then they'll turn it into a tag match for the tapings. Nick, no, that's the main event. We're going to move along from that. Rascals, Hammer Something, and PCO Callahan.
Hot take, I don't care. No, I think the Rascals win it. And whatever this 23 thing is, I think we get a little bit reveal tomorrow. Like, I get more of a reveal, like an actual reveal.
I could see that. I really want Hammer Something to win, but I think it's going to be the Rascals.
Hammer Something is going to start to win, and Trey Miguel being sneaky is going to get that pin. That's how I feel it's going to, because I love Trey Miguel. If there's a way to win, he's going to find it.
Yeah, exactly. Azos and Trent Seven. I think Trent Seven's going to get the win, and it's going to be a little underhanded again.
Trent Seven's going to kick him in the dick. What?
My favorite way to win a match, by the way. You want to win my heart? Kick him in the dick.
Yam Bag City, baby. We're making sweet yams today.
So we're both in on Trent?
Oh, yeah. I like Ace Aus. I love you, Quadzilla, but you getting kicked in the dick. I'm so sorry.
Good for you. You get kicked in the quads. It's the same thing. Jordan Grace, Rosemary. Rosemary's on the ascent, but Jordan Grace. I don't know what they do with this one. Maybe a wonky finish.
A wonky. I keep thinking that wrestling matches have to finish clean. A wonky finish here would protect both these young ladies. A wonky finish and Rosemary wins.
Okay. Yeah. I could see something like that. Moose and Kushida for the TNA X Division Championship. Moose retains. Moose
is going to cheat and retain. I mean, he could probably win clean and spear Kushida out his boots, but I see him cheating.
I wonder what's going to happen when they do that spot from the top rope into the hoverboard lock, and Moose, I guess, turns it around into a spear or something. They're going to find a way to do it.
I thought the spot was going to be Moose going in for a spear and Kushida saying, "Not today, hoverboard lock."
Yeah, no, that's definitely one of the moves for sure. But yeah, Moose retains is what I'm expecting. Hardys put their tag titles on the line against the System, Brian Myers and Edward Edwards in a tables match.
Elder abuse, but the old people win. I don't know why I'm saying that. I don't know why I'm saying it like that.
The Hardys get the win is what I expect as well. Four-way match to determine the number one contendership for TNA Championship at Genesis. Joe Hendry, Josh Alexander, Mike Santana, Steve Macklin. I'm really looking forward to this match. Not just because I like all four men in this match, but also because it's going to tell the tale of what happens at Genesis. I'm still on the Mike Santana train. Joe Hendry, technically he got the win tonight. His team won. He had the power move against AJ, but otherwise he was just kind of knocked out at the end. So I don't know how big of a factor he'll be when Santana and Alexander's the story. Maybe Macklin and Hendry have some work to do together.
1 second.
Well done.
I caught it this time. I don't know here. First, let me say this match is going to be sports entertaining. Now, I have a theory for each person winning and losing. I could see Mike Santana losing this specifically because Josh Alexander is a piece of crap. And he's going to make sure every which way that he's not winning. That being said, whoever wins this, I don't see them beating Nick Nemeth. So I can make that same case. Say it could be Macklin. And like, oh, that's nice. I like Macklin. But Macklin would lose here. I could see Joe Hendry winning. But I strongly feel Joe Hendry's not going to win. And I feel like if you honey dick us one more time with Joe Hendry, people are going to be like, you know what, TNA? There's only so much I can take. I could see Josh Alexander winning here. And Mike Santana, because he'll screw out Mike Santana of the win. And then Mike Santana will screw him from Nick Nemeth. Nick Nemeth will get mad, and then it's a three-way, and you keep it interesting, and then you could play JBL in there, and it would make sense because the Northern Armory would be out there. I think in my mind, I would agree with you that Mike Santana should win this, but I don't think whoever wins this beats Nemeth. So that's why I'm saying Macklin, only because Macklin be like, okay, and if he loses that, I don't think Macklin loses anything later on. I'm thinking ahead.
See, I think Santana wins. Santana captures the title of Genesis. You do the match with Alexander. a few weeks later on Alexander's last night, maybe Hendry turns heel. Maybe Hendry is so frustrated with all the shit and getting screwed, even though he hasn't gotten screwed. He said he's going to work his way back up. Maybe Hendry gets a mean streak and goes after Steve Maclin, because Maclin is doing a babyface run, at least for the time being. I don't know if they want to turn Maclin right back from where they started, because fans are starting to get behind him. So Maclin and Hendry, again, as a program, both of them jockeying for a position to go after Mike Santana. Hendry and Santana somewhere down the line could see that. I wouldn't hate it, but I could see Hendry getting a mean streak, maybe starting with this match, getting screwed out of it somehow, but Santana getting the win.
I still feel like it leaves the JBL question unanswered.
Oh,
I
it
feel like
definitely does, and it's not good to begin with.
yeah, and that's where I feel like the biggest issue is stemming from with this whole situation is that the JBL, he's here, that's cool, but you have sown so much chaos in your presence that now it's like, okay, is he face? Is he heel? Nick Nemeth not addressing it at all. Come on, dogs. At some point, you've got to say something. You've got to say something more than I didn't tell us that. But he keeps coming out for you. So I think because there is that JBL factor, no matter who I pick, I feel like when you go against Nemeth, Nemeth is beating you because JBL is going to cheat for him.
Yeah. And again, the JBL thing is just, it's got to get explained. They got to do something about it. And some of that could start as early as tomorrow, but I still don't have my hopes up because they haven't done shit yet.
It's kind of giving like when Sami Zayn got attacked before that Saudi Arabia show and we don't know who did it to this day. And if it gets to that point where I'm just like, I don't care. You know what I mean? I'm beginning not to care and I don't want that.
Yeah, absolutely. Masha Slamovich takes on Tasha Steelz for the Knockouts title. Feels like Masha's going to win because she just won that title and it's a baddie of the month.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good match, but I don't see Miss Steelz winning here.
Exactly. 2 former Knockouts champions, but this is Masha's time, so keep rolling with that. And then maybe the main event, if it's not the tag titles, Nick Nemeth puts the world title up against AJ Francis. Again, said it half jokingly, is this a match that JBL actually cares to show up and take out AJ Francis? And again, you can't, this is the thing, the JBL thing, if he takes out AJ Francis, AJ looks dumb because AJ Francis is a big man. So like something's got to give. If JBL shows up tomorrow night, then great, same old shit. And I'm done with that same old shit finish. But if he doesn't show up, then what are we doing?
I don't think JBL. Okay. Respectfully to AJ Francis, because again, it do take nerve to talk your way into a title shot. But I don't think, and I think that not for nothing, AJ Francis's track record has proven that almost every title shot you've gotten, I think with the exception of the digital media, you've fumbled the bag. And not to say that Nick Nemeth is looking past him, but in the confines, if I'm JBL and I'm showing up for people who are threats, air quotes here with threats, I'm not showing up for AJ Francis. However, it does put the conundrum, like you said, like, so you show up for everyone else, but you don't think AJ Francis, it kind of makes AJ, it puts him in a conundrum of looking rubbish, if you will. And if he does show up, it's kind of like, all right, so what's the truth here? Like you investing in your interest, or you're just showing up because you're all right. So I don't know. At the end of the day, I don't think AJ Francis is beating Nick Nemeth tomorrow. It's just how it's done. I think it can be done clean. I think AJ Francis is going to really work over Nemeth, but whether it's clean or JBL or not remains to be seen. And if JBL, TNA explain. If no JBL, it's kind of like TNA explain.
Yeah, you can't sit on it and not do anything about it. And if you're waiting for a big reveal at Genesis, then that's a long ass time from now with no even attempt at explaining it. Like they haven't even made the attempt. No one's called out Nick Nemeth on it and like made him explain other than like, I don't know why he's here. It's just gotta move on. It's been since August and it's been repeating itself since August. Yeah. Every single show has Nemeth having JBL show up and win it for him. That can't stand. You cannot do that for another month because the fans will not keep with it.
We're the TNA faithful, not the TNA stoops. Come on now.
Exactly. Anyway, that's TNA for tonight. Tomorrow night is Final Resolution. We're not going to do a post show because it's going to be a fine show, but there's enough going on with Saturday night's main event coming up. Again, the holiday stream, 8 p.m. Eastern here on Fightful, and also will be doing the post show as well. It's going to be Sean and Andrew Baydala. And then, of course, you've got the Collision crew doing their Collision post show as well. So there's plenty going on over the weekend. The SmackDown post show is tomorrow as well. So there's enough. We'll talk about Final Resolution and the fallout from that next week. I'm sure of it. But until then, Cresta, start telling them what you got going on.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, now that I know that I'm not doing Final Resolution, you know what? Let's do a watch along tomorrow. Mosey on down to twitch.tv/CrestaStar. We'll do a watch along. We'll watch Final Resolution and we'll yuck about it next Thursday with Joel. Speaking of Thursday, every Thursday you can find me here on Fightful with Joel Pearl. We go over all things TNA. Every Saturday, myself, Iridian, and Rick, we go over everything AEW Collision. I will be live this Saturday with Iridian for AEW. Yeah, main event is going on, but heck then we're going on after at 10 o'clock. Every Wednesday, you can find me over on Twitch and TikTok watching AEW Dynamite with you. And sometimes you catch me on Monday. But follow me on social media. Anywhere you can type Cresta Star, except for the Bird app is Cresta the Star, but Cresta Star with 2 R's because I'm a pirate. I think I said it all. There's a link tree in my bio on everything. I love you. You're fantastic. Your butt looks nice. I hope you find $20 on the floor. Joel Pearl, where can they find you?
Thank you. My butt does look nice. I've been wearing these. Oh, not me. Everyone else. Okay.
No, you too.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, Jeremy Lambert and I get in the weeds from 10 a.m. Eastern until about noon, 12:30, depending on how we're feeling. Sometimes there's dead air. Sometimes there's an awkward silence. Sometimes we're at each other's throats. Sometimes we just talk for the sake of talking, just like now. While I filibuster my way through to the end of the show, we're here every Thursday night talking about TNA Impact, and we'll be back like we are next week to do it. So for Cresta Star, I am at Joel Pearl, JOELPEARL. Ladies and gentlemen, friends beyond the binary, we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.
Bye.